What's up, guys? TheDevildogGamer here. Today we're talking about World War III. Yeah, that game that died a long time ago and then came back with a resurgence as a free-to-play game recently. But the third operation has recently released. Now, their year one roadmap had 4 operations, this being the third one. They have one more big content update this year. I kind of wanted to talk about the state of the game, this third operation, and what this game can do to survive. But before we get started, let's thank today's video sponsor, Sonoran Desert Institute. With more than 350 million firearms in the U.S., the time has never been better to learn how to be a gunsmith. Sonoran Desert Institute offers online firearms technology education with hands-on labs and materials shipped right to your door. Course topics range from AR-10, AR-15, or 1911 armor options to shooting sports management, ballistics, gunsmithing, and more. Get your education and turn your passions for firearms into a successful career. Visit sdi.edu or call 480-999-4767 to get started. So World War III, a game that we all thought died and came back to life as a free-to-play game, which had a lot of momentum at start. It was pretty populated, and a lot of you guys were playing it. I was playing the hell out of it. And then it slowly kind of trickled away. I come back to it each operation update because they add new content, and I get to see where the game is progressing. They didn't really need to work on the base game so much because the base game was already available. It had died, but you know, the base game was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It was whatever they did in the future, which would keep this game alive and take a path where it was going. The past few operations have been okay, but it's nothing to really write home about. Now, this third operation added Turkish weapons, which, honestly, they're kind of terrible. It's not really a huge content update. The Turkish weapons look like something that was made in a factory in a back room by someone who's never taken CAD before in their life. It was ridiculous. They're ridiculous looking. It also added a drone that has a turret, which is kind of cool, and one new map, but nothing else other than that. One of my biggest complaints with World War III was the matchmaking. I usually play early morning. There's not a lot of people playing the game, and I always got thrown into servers from, like, Asia, Singapore, Dubai, things like that. Now I match at US East 90% of the time, because getting a match is still next to impossible. If I want to play a certain operation or a certain map, I'm not getting into a match. I'm going to stare at the lobby screen forever. And then I get thrown into, a European server, which is fine. I'll play on European servers. They're not that bad. It's better than a Singapore server, which I literally can't connect to half of the time. The big issue, though, is that there's not much content in the Battle Pass to actually justify spending money on it. The guns that you get for free are just basically that, and you're stuck with cosmetics. I don't see how they're going to fund this game. The next big operation is supposed to come out in September. It's going to be Poland as the main country that they're focusing on. It's going to have new strike types, new operator blueprints, 5 new weapons, and 2 new strikes, along with a new HVT tactical kind of CQB mode, along with a bunch of improvements. We haven't gotten new vehicles since March. There's no new vehicles being added to the game. That's kind of one of the big things about it. Therefore, I think the reason you're getting a less of a focus on the vehicles is because the player count's going down enough to where, the tactical operations where you actually get to call in vehicles are not really the focus because you can't fill them. Finding a match right now is more of an issue than anything else in this game. The player count is that low. So I see that the content is shifting more towards smaller maps, smaller lobbies, because the new map is a team deathmatch map, which is like 20 people total, which they should be able to theoretically fill those servers. I still have a hard time trying to find them, but I don't see anything new that's awesome kind of bringing it in. These Turkish weapons are kind of doo-doo looking. They look like doo-doo. They're not really that fun. And I'm like, I don't find myself wanting to grind the rest of them out. I got the first one unlocked, and I'm like, I don't want to play anymore. The content needs to be consistent, and it needs to be good to bring people in. Right now, even simple things could help this game, like adding more scopes and different attachments that you could get on your guns that you'd already unlocked, adding different types of holographics magnifiers that you can put on, adding just simple stuff like that, not just new content, you know, add stuff to existing guns, you know, for customization. It already has a great customization for guns and players and you know, things. Like, they're doing crazy amounts of, like, customization for your player model. Why not add more content to the guns already? Add different suppressor types, underbarrels, vertical foregrips, you know, red dots, scopes, things like that with each update. Small little things that people will grind out, you know, just to try. Like, they already have thermal scopes. Why not add different types of thermal scopes? Or even, like, I don't know, thermal magnifier attachments that you can attach to, like, long-range scopes. Different things that they could add into the game now that would bring people in to kind of just grind away to get that stuff and try it out. Or hell, even more attachments and things you can do with different vehicles. There's already where you can get the T-72 chassis and turn that into a BMP-T. You know, the crazy cool Russian tank that everyone talks about, or even more warheads for your RPGs or your rockets, or different grenade types. Small little things like that, not just focusing on, hey, we're gonna make like a couple new guns for this nation, throw them in a battle pass. Just things that can get added in along with these operations for quality of life, to bring people into the game. Because right now, sorting the server issue isn't going to be a big deal if there's no players to play the game. I think right now, World War III is kind of in a rough spot. They started off pretty good with this free-to-play model, and it's been slowly, the player numbers have been slowly whittling away quite a bit. I think after this last operation, this will be the big judge of, hey, what's to come for year 2 roadmap. I think the survival of this game depends on what year 2 of World War III looks like as in a free-to-play model. What's going to be added? These battle passes have to be worth something. They have to have something cool in it to get people to really want to get into it. Not just a few weapons here and there, strikes, maybe a vehicle or two. Add something cool, maybe flyable helicopters, flyable aircraft. I don't know. There's got to be another way to really get people interested in this game, because it has that Battlefield-esque feel to it, but in a free-to-play model. And it's been a good game over the years. Rather, this is a bit dated at times now, because it was great when it was first released. At this point, it's a dated kind of looking game. The gunplay isn't bad. The gameplay isn't bad. The free-to-play model isn't too bad either. Unlocking stuff doesn't take forever. But with this year 1 roadmap, so far it hasn't been the greatest. And the player numbers have been dropping significantly. And like I always say it all the time, content is king in these types of games. That's why War Thunder still survives. They throw out tons and tons and tons of content every single update, and people grind their lives away for it. Give people something that they want, and they will either pay for it or they will play for it. And that's what's got to be the success of World War III and how it continues to survive. You got to give people something worth it that they will want and it'll keep their attention. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of World War III? Do you think it has the willpower to survive any longer? Do you think this first year has been pretty good? Or do you think year 2 is probably the make or break if you're either going to like continue even thinking about it, or just keep it installed, or, you know, forget it exists? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.